This is the X&C Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Gaz, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, X&C Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox newscast. Hey, how's it going? Gaz, how are you?
I'm good. Life? How are you?
I haven't talked to you all day. How you been?
I'm good. I'm dying. So hot in here. It's so hot. This is probably the hottest day of ever in the UK. Apparently,
for those of us who don't use the British system, the how hot is it over there?
Bro, it's just too hot. It's just too hot.
You remind me of a friend of mine that's all he said. Like, he was constantly, even in the wintertime, he was too hot. He's like, oh my gosh, it's so hot in here. It's so hot in here. Like, he said that all the time. So hot.
It's so hot. But I'm here having my...
Things are hot. Things
Don't
are...
mind me. I'm sorry. It's really
Things
hot.
are happening. Welcome to the X&C Podcast. I'm here with my amazing co-host, Gaz from Game On Daily. And some of what we're going to talk about today is so hot. The Activision Blizzard thing is super hot right now. In fact, coming in really hot. We're going to get into that in just a little bit. Gaz, I got some, I talked to somebody last night who was doing some real digging, like almost called the European Trade Commission, whatever they're called. I don't even know what they're called. Digging into how close we are to this Activision thing. Things could really take a sharp turn this fall if all goes according to plan. We're going to talk about that. This isn't one of those things where everyone's like, wow. Oh, I heard it's, I talked to an insider and they said it's going to close. It's not one of those things. It's a little bit cooler than that. But yeah, Gaz, I'm excited. Let me give a shout out to, we'll start. Let's give a shout out to a couple hundred people who are checking out the show. If you're here, we're live on the Colteastwood channel, and we're also on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts on demand audio only. If you want to check out the show after the fact, Gaz is eating a banana popsicle, which sounds fantastical right now.
Like popsicles? Come to my house. I got a freezer full of popsicles. I can never do that.
Oh, I used to love the popsicles that came with two sticks, and after a while, you just pull them apart. And then I got two. Yeah, those are classic. I want to give a shout out to the channel veterans, Ricky Blade, Raiden Blade, Ricky Fallon, Zener White, Poochie Wolf Assassin, DeBlue, Devario 2 Gaming, Fault Lights, Wreak Havoc, Fox Storytelling, Rodney Coots, Gaz, Dark CMF, Beta Max, Dante Moody, Alex Wilson, Lord Starkiller, Robert Jackson, Gamer McFly, Assassin Lupa, Nana Polymyth, Hargy, Johnny, TK Chillin, Larry Thatcher, Dove, V Simcoe, Suicide King, Yodana Kizada, Phil, KY Bob, William Lanza, and Matt Burns. Don't we have the coolest names? Everyone has the coolest internet names out here in the world.
Yeah.
I like it. But, thanks for everyone for coming to check out the show. We're going to talk about the very first thing that kind of broke news for us in the morning. If you're here on the west side of the globe, is game reviews for Stray and As Dusk Falls. Gaz, tell people about Stray. Let's start off with Stray first. This is a PlayStation exclusive. What is it?
I haven't played it. I bought it on Steam, and I think it unlocks now. So I'm going to play it on my Steam Deck. It's a game where you control a cat. A nice little kitty cat. Or a pussy, as some places know. Pussycat. Don't do that face.
Yeah.
That's actually a very accurate sound there. Stray's come out, so has As Dusk Falls. And Stray's been reviewing very well. It's I think last time I checked, it was
the numbers.
84 meta. Let me just check.
Yep.
Let me check.
Yeah, it's an 84. I'm looking on Open Critic because they combined the PC
nice
version and the PlayStation version. apparently Alex Battaglia of Digital Foundry is not happy. It is yet another game that sees unnecessary stutter on PC, but running great on a console.
Damn it! I just bought it on Steam. Could have bought it on PS5. It's just easier to record footage if I wanted to. Oh man, that sucks. Well, yeah, another bad PC port in the history books. I think that history book is quite big now. But yeah, Stray is a game where you control a cat in a cyberpunk setting, and it just looks really cool. It's something I love cats, and it's something I want to play. Seems like they really nailed the kind of mannerisms of a cat, which I think is quite important in a game where you control a cat. It's just, I've said the word cat so much, the word makes no sense. You know when you say something so much, cat, and then you try to write it down and the spelling looks weird.
Yeah. The other weird game, like you said, is As Dusk Falls. I talked to Randall Thor 19, the man with a million today, about it. And he goes, Cole, are you going to play this? And I go, I don't know. And he goes, can I spoil some stuff for you? And I go, sure, go ahead. And he told me there's some dark stuff in this game. Like,
oh, really?
Pretty crazy stuff. Yeah. It all starts off with something terrible happening, and you have to make like big choices right away, whether you're going to ignore something or help something. Yeah. So the problem with the game is it's basically a Photoshop filter over pictures of real actors and actresses. And then it's in like a flipbook animation style where it's not really, I mean, you guys have all seen it, right? Where you don't have like gameplay controlling. It's like it flips between scenes and blends them. You know, you set a still shot here for several seconds and then a still shot. And then it's like, I don't know. It's like an experience. Also, you can have your friend join on a phone, Gaz. Super weird.
I'm really intrigued to know how that works. I mean, what do they do when you have co-op? Like, or with any up to 4 people co-op or something weird? Like,
up to 8, I guess.
What?
Yeah.
Like, what do they do? How does the co-op work in that?
You on the phone, I guess you can be given a choice of what your friend should do in the game, and you can vote on the phone.
Why don't we play it together, Colt?
Let's do it.
I know
I've got so many other games I'd rather play, but we could do that.
Yeah, you're playing. Oh, you vote apparently.
Yes,
it's a voting thing on decisions. All right. Yeah, I mean, initially when the first review came out, it was from VGC. I run a news aggregation platform. I was like, ooh, hasn't started off well. And that gave it like a 2 out of 5 stars or something. Or 4 out of 10.
You put out a messy tweet this morning. And then on the flip side, the notorious IGN gave it a 9. And I thought, I had slept through most of that as it was unrolling.
Must have a lot of water in it. Yeah. 9 out of 10. That's quite good.
9 out of 10. It's sitting at a 76 Metacritic, which puts it at maybe I'll try it now. Right?
I mean, Metacritic, like you say, like you've always got the right idea of Metacritic, by the way. You always said, like, people say, oh, I don't care about Metacritic, or I don't care about X, which is fine. But you always said the right thing, in my opinion, and for my taste. It's like, take Metacritic score, take what your friends are saying, and then try it out. And it's on
your
Game
favorite,
Pass.
And then your favorite reviewer on YouTube or your favorite influencer. Yeah, use those 3 things. Okay. You're guaranteed to win that way.
Yeah, exactly. I've just got an email from a very handsome chap. Is that the person you're talking about who did this research? Anyway, about this ABK deal. Interesting.
Was I talking to this person last night? I'm actually
maybe.
It was very in depth and super late at night and a lot of critical thinking going on. We'll get into that. As Dusk Falls, I'll give it a try. So there's let me read this from Danta because we were talking about heat and I just cracked open a ice cold Mountain Dew, which is no sugar, 0 calories, and I'm wrong. No, lots of that. Danta with the $5 super. Thank you, Don, who's always hanging out in the chat. And I see you guys all in the chat here. Recognize all your names. You're amazing. Thank you for hanging out with Gaz and I. We really appreciate it on the XNC podcast. Danta says, I work door to door in 100-degree plus heat in Houston, Texas weather. I laugh at most people's idea of hot.
Someone in the Sahara Desert is laughing at you. It's not a competition yet, Don. It's not a competition.
Don,
I bet you have
Don, hopefully
AC. We have no
Don,
AC, Don. Yeah.
It's because you guys get 1 month of heat, right?
Everyone asked me that. Dealer always like in party chat. Dealer goes, "You guys always complain. Like, why don't you get aircon unit?" In fairness to him, the last 2 years I have been just crying like a little girl, like, we need so hot, and we just get such weird summers where we'll get a week of like heat and nothing else,
and then it's over. Yeah, I guess I bought $115 thing. I stuck in the window.
Things. Yeah.
No,
global warming
it's
has
all about
changed
acclimation.
Things. Yeah, I'm just gonna get used to it. I've got this tiny. This is what I've got. This tiny little desktop USB fan blowing air into my air for people listening on Spotify.
You don't have a ceiling fan? I have a ceiling fan over here that's kind of noisy, but
ceiling fan. There's no one.
This is a different kind of fan conversation on a podcast.
Oh yeah, sorry.
But yeah, shout out to everybody who dies from the heat and complains, and then the other people who say they're more acclimated. Well, my air conditioning broke last year, and it was bad. It was really bad.
Yeah, I remember that. He was complaining a lot.
Yeah, I was crying. So the latest Xbox news is Platinum Games yet again on their knees, crawling, begging for Phil Spencer to throw them a bone. Did you catch this?
Phil. Yeah, they're desperate for that Microsoft money. They really are. They're literally when the acquisition season was up and all this talk of consolidation, and Platinum were one of the first few that would say, it wouldn't be bad if Microsoft bought some Japanese studios. We wouldn't be against it. Hi, Microsoft. Or we wouldn't be against working on Scalebound again, Scalebound Microsoft. And now they're saying, what were they saying? They're saying they would like someone to fund and purchase one of their games or something. Platinum.
As I'm picking up my stuff, I think they were asking for someone to pick them up.
Yeah.
Let me look at it again. It's just so funny
Platinum
because
Games has approached Microsoft to publish their next game. That's according to rumors, anyway.
So tell the audience, guys, what Platinum Games makes. Yeah, you see the
Games
tweet here from Idle Sloth. Says
I'll get the list, but what's his name? I always forget his name. Come here, the guy who blocks everyone if you speak in English to him on Twitter. It's true. He does it.
Wait, where's he? Who's he work for?
Platinum Games.
Oh, that's the same guy.
Yeah.
It says Extus One STV received this information from his sources, but doesn't know if Xbox has agreed or not to the deal. So according to this insider or this person that talks to people in dark corners of the internet, they're sure that Platinum has asked Xbox to publish, but they just don't know if Xbox wants to take the deal or not.
Maybe it's the ABK deal. Apparently that's holding up Microsoft quite a bit, other than whatever information or whatever discussion you've had. But I think it would be good. They know Microsoft is definitely looking at Japan. They're making a big moves in Japan, and Xbox is selling well in Japan. What the hell is going on? We've entered the twilight zone.
They're trending in Japan almost.
That's crazy.
It's super crazy.
I find that so crazy.
I don't know how much you know about Platinum Games. It's so hot in here. How much do you know about Platinum Games?
So take off all your clothes. I ain't getting so hot. I'm gonna take my clothes off.
Oh shit!
Somebody get this guy a record deal. How much do you know about Platinum Games, guys?
Close that. All my neighbors are gonna be like, sorry, 1 sec. That was really
people
loud.
Walking around in the UK thinking, "What in the world is going on?"
Yeah,
and they don't even get the wonderment of your post effects on your vocals. What do you know about Platinum Games? I can name quite a few games they've made, and I think they only have a couple hot games.
Well, they did make chat was Scalebound, the game that the massive colossal flop and failure, mostly on the part of Platinum Games, not Microsoft. This big game that Microsoft hung its hopes on in a desperate generation called the Xbox One Gen. And this generic-looking Dante character with headphones was going to help Xbox with his dragon game running at 2 frames per second. And apparently the game was far too ambitious for Platinum Games. And then Microsoft got all kinds of and then ultimately failed, and then it was their fault.
I'm asking the chat right now. Were you excited for Scalebound, chat? For those of you who are listening to this show on demand, on audio only, I am polling the chat right now.
It's not light blue underwear. These are.
Were you excited?
Shorts.
Were you excited for Scalebound? Is what I'm asking. Because there was such a loud voice of people who thought, "Oh my gosh, those shorts look great. It looks like you play for Duke." Were you excited for Scalebound? Because I was one of those guys from moment one when I saw it at the Xbox One reveal or that first E3. I was like, "What is that? What's with the beats?"
I mean, the character was generic. The multiplayer mode when they showed that that's when I got concerned, because I'm like, this doesn't seem like it's taken a lot of thought there, and they've probably borrowed from Microsoft. Well, they're not borrowed. They've been mandated by Microsoft to do this multiplayer mode. And it felt like these guys are stretching themselves pretty thin considering the performance of their first gameplay showing. So I was just like, I mean, there's some interesting looking mechanics in that game, like with the powers and the rock powers. And even now visually kind of does hold itself a little bit, but yeah, Platinum Games.
It was definitely something Xbox never had, right? They didn't have this third-person Japanese style adventure game. They hadn't had something like that in 5 years, maybe even 10 years. Some people, I don't know if they're kidding, but they're asking what Scalebound is. So just really quickly, I'll reset for the audience. In 2013, Xbox showed this third-person action adventure game where you have a companion that's a gigantic dragon, like a 50-foot tall dragon or whatever. But your main character was like a dude bro with skinny jeans and Beats headphones on, and he controlled the dragon, and they worked together and they fought enemies in an open world. It was very Final Fantasy looking. It was made by Platinum Games, the team that makes Bayonetta, but also made some really failed games. One of them that kind of failed that was really good was Vanquish, which is a third-person action adventure shooter, which is very cool in cooperation with Sega. So Scalebound was worked on for about 4 years for the Xbox One generation and had a couple of showings that were really rough with low frame rate. I don't want to tell too much about this because most people probably know what went on, but here's the part that a lot of people don't know about. Was Scalebound was being delayed or was not quite ready yet. And when Phil took over for Xbox Game Studios or for Microsoft Studios, he pressed them on where Scalebound was. And Platinum said they were trying to deliver the multiplayer and single player, and they're having trouble with Unreal Engine, and the game wasn't ready, and they wanted 1 more year. And Phil said no. He was mad. According to reports, Phil was angry and said, "No more. We're done. We're going to take all the money we invested in Platinum Games for this publishing deal, and we're just going to wash. We're going to eat it, and we're canceling the game." Which was at a time when Xbox still had no games. It was during the time that Crackdown was supposed to come out and was being delayed.
Yeah.
It was so bad that they took a wash. And get this, guys. During that time, Platinum Games released 5 games. I think if I remember right, they released 5 games, and 2 or 3 of them were exclusive to the PlayStation. So their studios were getting other games out. A multi-plat like Transformers Devastation, the brawler, cell-shaded Transformers game. They put out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a 4-player online co-op game that got like a 4 out of 10. And then they put out, I cannot remember, help me out, chat, but they released a couple of exclusives for the PlayStation 4.
Automata was really good, and I don't think that was an Xbox.
I keep thinking that was Platinum, but I think that was another studio. I keep mistaking that.
Nier Automata was Platinum. Nier Automata was definitely Platinum.
I'm going to look, because I think I
And
misspoke.
Astral Chain, that was on Nintendo. Wonderful 101 remasters. That wasn't on Xbox.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, guys. Thank you. Platinum,
Yeah.
which was a hit for PlayStation in 2016, came out when they were supposed to release Scalebound. So
Yeah.
I said all that in the beginning to kind of give you the lead up, but
Nier Automata's
really
on
what you were
Xbox
looking at was
Yeah.
what happens in development for Scalebound. Microsoft and Xbox were giving Platinum money every month. Well, it gave them a big upfront amount. So their teams were being funded in salary to build this game that was not getting finished. And they totally canceled it. So now we've got Platinum begging yet again. What the heck are they making, guys?
Well, actually, the Bayonetta 3, that looks, see, there's a running joke. In fact, Kamiya acknowledges it. It's a running joke, like how they're still running, because they have these unique games, but they are not massive performers. Bayonetta has an audience, absolutely. But then, Astral Chain, did that sell out loads? And, then they have their fair share of flops as well. And then Babylon's Fall. Babylon's Fall was terrible. That game reviewed it horrendously.
That was just a month ago or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, Babylon's Fall.
I'm going to look it up while you're talking.
Babylon's Fall. Yeah,
let me
see. 46 on Metal. Jeez. Apparently, that was terrible. And then when that came out, Asa from
43 on
like,
OpenCritic, which combines PC and PlayStation and PlayStation 4 and 5. Yeah.
And that kind of thing can really, like Platinum are always on the edges of surviving. Bayonetta 3 needs to hit. It's coming out on October 28th, 24th. I forget the date, or 26th, one of the dates. So they're really desperately looking for a partner now, especially with spiraling dev costs. And Microsoft could be the perfect partner there. And I think Microsoft shouldn't be too snooty when it looks at Platinum Games, and perhaps they've got a history.
You wouldn't be a little bit cautious?
No. I'm not saying don't be cautious. I've looked at
12 games they've made, and they have 4 great games: the Nier Automata and the Bayonetta games. The other ones are pretty dicey.
Astral Chain.
Astral Chain's really good. Man, if they can just make the right game.
That's the thing. It just only takes one, and Microsoft may be looking at a potential good discount on the back of Babylon Fall coming out. Their stock value probably plummeted, and they're on the verge of they want to be bought. I think Microsoft will know more than we do about what went wrong with Scalebound. Kamiya said, look, it was beyond their scope, and they whatever, and then he held his hand up and he apologized for the failure that was Scalebound. And if Microsoft feels like there was enough there to reconcile that relationship and get them to work, and Platinum can, obviously conversations like this, these are advanced top level conversations we're not even privy to. So if they can sit down and convince Phil and say, look, this is our content pipeline, this is what we're going to work on. We could even go back and finish Scalebound, and really promise to deliver these kind of titles. If you want.
That's weird. You open my eyes, because they basically have these 9 rated games, and then they have these 4 rated games. Like, they don't have an in between. Either their game falls, or their game is like the Nier Automata and when you mentioned Astral Chain, I forgot about. Those are all super, like, the highest rated games.
They're really good games.
So if you're Phil, guys, are you cautiously looking at that and thinking maybe we need to hear them out?
I'm sure there are conversations and considerations already. People think that, they got burnt, don't touch them with a barge pole. I will say this, though. Microsoft desperately need a studio that can churn out quality consistently. And I don't know if Platinum Games are the ones for that, because their track record speaks for themselves. So unless
they make a lot of games. They make a lot of games, though.
They do make a lot of games, but sometimes like this is my big concern is, look, you're going to sit there on that Microsoft money, or what assurances can you give us if I'm Microsoft that you're going to deliver a good game or quality that we need? Because Microsoft, whether you like it or not, is held in a very critical kind of look and microscope under a microscope. But people like me, like, you have to Xbox prove yourselves out there. I'm quite unrelenting in my critique of Microsoft, make one thing to do well. So, and also it's a bad optics for Microsoft if a studio it's acquired or is in partnership with for a Japanese exclusive fails, then that makes Microsoft look really bad.
It'll look like it's their fault. I mean, it would.
Especially in Japan, it's sensitive now.
Yeah, I mean, it would look like Xbox's fault, even though Platinum has, like, we're either really crappy or we're the better than everybody else.
Years, Colt, for years, everyone blamed Microsoft. Everyone blamed Microsoft, and I took Microsoft's side with that. I said the writing is clear. The way Kamiya was talking about it was obvious that this is Scalebound's fault, not Microsoft. I'm sure there are some bits to Microsoft are portioned to be blamed. I don't know the full story, but for years Microsoft took it on the chin until Kamiya actually came out and apologized.
Yikes. Yeah, that is interesting. I got one more comment from Platinum before we move on. If you're just joining us, hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. We're about to get into, in just a moment, about what's going on with Activision and Blizzard. There's some new reports and some new theories, and then there's actually some information based on everything that's being broken down and how it actually is going to work that Gaz and I are going to discuss, thanks to a good friend of mine, which I'll ask him if he wants me to kind of divulge how that process goes through. But we're going to be talking about Activision and Blizzard joining Xbox way sooner than we ever thought. We'll get into that in just a moment. So yeah, hit the like button and show your support for us. The where is it? Right here. We got, this one's off topic, but Dylan Dobbs, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, imagine in Starfield you can build starships or Pelican and landing on a random barren planet, finding one cave, then it has a chief or Doom armor in it, as he says, that's an Easter egg. That would be super cool. I don't know if Bethesda's put Easter eggs in a lot of their games. In fact, quick story. I was replaying Fallout 4 a bunch while I was preparing this big Starfield video I'm working on. And I got to this outpost that I'd already been to in my old playthrough from 2015. Way back in 2015, I got this outpost where there's super mutants. And there was a super mutant at the top with a minigun named Big John. And I took him down, and it was in a video I created on YouTube back in 2015. And I got a comment from a lady who said, Big John, the super mutant, is an homage to my son, John, who has cancer. And Bethesda reached out to him and said, we're going to put your name in the game. So they called, because his nickname is Big John, because he's this young kid who was fighting cancer. This is back in 2015. I don't know what's going on, but the mom was like finding any content on YouTube that was referencing that super mutant and saying, that's my son. I'm so proud that Bethesda put him in the game. Very, very cool. And when I went back there, because enemies respawn in the game, but Big John is gone because I took him down, 5 years ago. But I wouldn't put it past Bethesda to put something cool in there. But they really should be looking at that with that partnership with Xbox and throw something in like that. That would be so cool.
Yeah,
to see
definitely.
Broken Chief a helmet or something. Like, what would you like to see in Starfield to pay homage to Xbox?
I mean, there's the sci-fi setting kind of opens it up to a little bit of Master Chief goodness. You might even see aliens in there that look, hey, that kind of reminds me of the Grunt or the Flood or something. We've still done a remarkably little about. We've got the factions, we've got the enemies, but what kind of threat is looming from?
We don't know about what kind of alien enemies, other than a couple of arthropods that we've seen in the game. So I also thought, are there going to be like bipedal humanoid enemies like we fight in Mass Effect or whatever? But we don't know.
Yeah,
I hope there are. I hope it's not just wildlife. But I got Hargeet has a comment here that I want to get into in a second because it'll take us in our next topic. But Paul, thank you for the $5 super. He says, I keep hearing Microsoft is looking to acquire Netflix. Wonder if that would be a smart idea. Gaz, you know about more of this than I do, and you've talked about it extensively on the show. What's going on with Netflix and Microsoft? How does it work?
So, this came about from an analyst who seemed to be really annoyed. Basically stating that Microsoft, so Netflix is supposed to go into an ad partnership with Microsoft. They're one of the first, if not the first partners to get into this relationship, because Netflix is now going to toy about with a free subscription, but that one that has ads. And Microsoft is top of the list there. And some analysts were saying that this is basically them getting in bed with each other, because they already have a history of a relationship with each other. And they're talking about Microsoft might be considering acquiring Netflix for about 100 billion or something dumb number, insane number. Yeah. And this is a precursor to that. And that the analyst said that basically they're waiting for the ABK deal to be done. Then they're going to go and buy Netflix. Now, the number you may balk at the sheer astronomical number value of it, but if anyone can buy Netflix or a studio or company, that is financially not doing that great, it's going to be Microsoft. And if Microsoft wants to take, or Microsoft definitely does take the metaverse spiel seriously, then Netflix is a massive gateway into that living room once again in a different medium, movies and entertainment. But you know, that could be massively. Netflix is a force.
Talk about a monopoly when Xbox has like such a massive presence in gaming, and then they have like a major entertainment presence.
The FTC will be having a good time with that one. I mean,
how does this tie into gaming, though? Use your imagination, but
there could be loads of ways you could do this. Like, think about Netflix originals, and now you have Netflix originals for a lot of your video game IPs. Microsoft has so many now with ABK and the Blizzard.
Is that part of the metaverse, stuff? Like having TV shows or movies that tie into games and all this other stuff, or is that just something we've always done?
That's a great question. What exactly is the metaverse? Because I think Blade Runner 2049 and all adverts beamed into my head, and the different, digital
Minority Report.
Well, Minority Report is very clinical and clean. It's a bit too clean. I think Blade Runner is very accurate, but in terms of like, I mean, I wonder how well Minority Report is aged. But the metaverse.
No, I meant Blade Runner, but yeah.
Oh, I watch it almost every other week.
I need to watch it again. So we need to sit down and watch it in a party chat like friends.
Can you do that? Apparently in Amazon you can do parties and watch things at the same time. I want to watch that. Blade Runner.
And Netflix does it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah, if you can do it on Amazon, that's where you get the movie. But
okay.
So I mean, Netflix wants to get into a gaming service, right? They've talked about it. So is Microsoft trying to get in there? Like, we'll just slide right in, and then we'll throw Game Pass. Let them build their thing. We'll acquire them, and then we'll throw Game Pass in and just slap it, connect it into the side peg of Netflix gaming. Then you get everything.
Yeah, I see Jonathan in chat says, "Are there any good Netflix shows that could become games?" Stranger Things, yes, absolutely. I think we talked about that as well. We had Carrick in here one time. We were talking about.
I don't know if you guys have seen Umbrella Academy. I haven't watched the latest season, but when I was watching, I was like, "Why isn't Xbox making a game like this where there's six characters that are just so amazing and unique, and they have different powers, and the way the storytelling goes, like this could be such a great game, even if some of this is all narrative and cutscenes and the rest is gameplay." How do they make these movies so much better in games sometimes, these TV shows? But
Love Death Robots, shout out to you. Great show.
How close are they? How real is this Netflix partnership talk?
We will never know. These kind of conversations always, I mean, which one of these acquisitions we actually predicted? None. ABK, ZeniMax, none of these. These are top level
Speaking of, today I learned Happy Bomb in the chat. I got to give a shout out to Lethal Bomb. I always mess with his name when I say Boss Mod, Lethal Papa, and Happy Bomb for being here to mod and support the chat. So give them a thumbs up and give the show a thumbs up for them doing the work to make sure that you guys don't say super terrible words. But news broke today that Netflix is interested in making an animated cartoon series called Grounded based on the video game. Like a cartoon of four teenagers that got shrunk and stuck in the backyard by some mad scientists, and they don't know why. And
they shrunk the kids. The video games they said come full circle now.
They said they want to capture the magic of the movie Bug's Life and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with the way the video game does. So, yeah, I guess Xbox might be looking into mixing. I know everybody here binge watches a ton of shows, right, guys? You binge watch a lot of these adventure shows, and then you sit down and play video games, and then you're cool enough to sit and hang out on podcasts. So
it's really about audience retention and basically just get people vested into your whatever ecosystem. That's what the multiverse is why Microsoft is positioning itself in the future. It's kind of a scary dystopian future, but Microsoft is really going beyond. It's coming. It's weird. I just want to be there for, the future holographic neon signs and smoke coming out of the sewers. Greatest. I went to a city, Milton Keynes. They have Amazon robots just plodding along, delivering.
I'd love to see that.
It's just like, what the hell? They're just piloting. You just see these little robots, and they know where the crossing is. They'll just wait there, and I'm like, it's like, what? We are in the future now. We are in the future. The only thing that hasn't happened is the hoverboards, but pretty much that and the flying cars. We're almost there. It's scary.
We'll never get.
And I don't even have AC.
Flying cars will never happen. It'll never happen. Not. But everything else is pretty spot on. Imagine walking through a mall and an animated sign starts speaking to you after it scans your eyes, like, Gaz, you like to buy underwear. Come in and buy some underwear. Underwear Emporium.
If Ana de Armas's hologram wants to do that to me, I'll buy all kinds of
underwear.
underwear.
Ana de Armas's body hologram with my face? $500.
Don't even dare. That hologram would be pregnant in no time.
Danta with the $10 super chat. He gives us the facts and the figures. He says Platinum's B team is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Legend of Korra, Transformers, Babylon Fall, and he says their A team is, and this is some good stuff, Metal Gear Vengeance. I think it's Metal Gear Resurgence. It's been a while. Yeah. Vanquish, awesome. Wonderful 101, I haven't played. Nier Automata, Astral Chain, and Bayonetta 1 through 3.
Those are big names, man. They've got some yeah.
You got to get the team, which team we talking about, right? When you want to bring them onto a game.
I don't know how their teams work. Obviously, they've got more talented people in one part, or they may be the same studio. They may be the same group, but they just some of their games hit because the concept is great and it all leads to that. Microsoft may be looking into it seriously because they want to make inroads in Japan. I've said it here on this show before, and I'll say it again: an acquisition of a Japanese studio or building one from the ground up, unlikely to be the latter. It's happening. Microsoft, once the ABK deal goes through, they will buy, or they're still talking about buying. Platinum may be one of them. I know a lot of people don't like their works. They just say, stay away from Microsoft. Microsoft, stay away from Platinum. They suck. But you have to look at the full picture. I think that'll be something really to celebrate. Microsoft buying Platinum is a mission statement. If you don't think the Kojima game or partnership is enough, or the Koei Tecmo one with Wolong, then this is undeniable. Like Microsoft,
doesn't it just seem like it's either going to be a really big hit or a really big fail? That's kind of what it seems like if they picked up Platinum for a partnership on a game.
I think if they would do well. Platinum have always been worried about their purse strings. They've always been stifled as far as capital is concerned. Perhaps the scale bounding represented an opportunity that they shouldn't have squandered because they had Microsoft's bank. But again, this was a Microsoft that still wasn't all in on gaming. It was kind of
they were not in at all. They were drowning. They were left to die.
Exactly. Yeah. So that whatever budget Microsoft has assigned to them may not have been that great. Now they're just getting all this news about all the studio autonomy, mismanagement and all that. We can talk about that later. But Platinum Games, they might be a big serious front runner to be acquired by Microsoft, in my opinion. And the talk that they're making, I would say that it would be absolutely foolish of Microsoft to not entertain the notion. Do your due diligence, do your research, go into their books, sit down with them very carefully, run through a fine-tooth comb, say, okay, what is it in your pipeline that you guys are working on? How are you actually going to use, being part of us and there's also cultural things. I'm not talking about West and East culture. I'm talking about cultural fit of a studio in Microsoft's umbrella. There's also a challenge of trying to acclimatized to Microsoft, or Microsoft acclimatizing or understanding the needs of a Japanese developer. They're, I'm very weary of how Microsoft deals with some of its studios that it's acquired under the Xbox Game Studios banner. So, sorry. Long story short, and King going. I'm really sorry. I have just literally blabbed on.
You've convinced me, guys. You kind of changed my mind already. Nice
I think
sales tactic.
I would personally think it's a big deal, and I think if Microsoft does that due diligence, Platinum could be a really good fit for them, and this opportunity may not come again.
Let me ask the audience, Gaz. Audience, do you think bringing on Platinum Games is a really scary venture for Xbox, or do you think just getting a Japanese studio to work with Xbox is a major win? Because I'm kind of with Gaz, like just getting somebody like Platinum or any of these other very prominent Japanese studios to say, hey, we normally just release our games on a PlayStation and PC and Switch, but to make an exclusive for Xbox, it is a very, I see Zach in chat, Platinum, that's a very risky move.
The thing is, everything from software, if they look, chat is quite torn on this. Some are like, hell no, it's a terrible idea. Other people are like, no, it's fine. There's a lot more to it than that. You mean the guys that take money admit they didn't make a game? Yeah, Zorka, we talked about that earlier about Platinum and their mishandling. And the whole point is if they can prove to Microsoft that, and how they prove that, I don't know. Then if they can prove that,
Capono 5150 in the chat makes a good point. He says we need games, not more studios. So I would rather see Platinum say, hey, we've got this game almost ready. Does it look like something you want on the platform? And then if it's not Babylon's Fall 2, maybe it's good.
Yeah. Mean, that's the thing. It's not that black and white. You can't just say, oh, look, they have Babylon's Fall. It's a flop. And Zorka, we did say Platinum is extremely hit and miss. It's exactly where someone said they had a B team and they had an A team. They've got the Astral Chain. For every Astral Chain and Bayonetta that they have, you've got your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and very recently Babylon's Fall. So it's not. It is risky. It's risky. Microsoft has the bankroll for it, but Microsoft, and I said that, and Capone in the chat was like, "Oh, guys, you always say their studios are mismanaged. Now you want them to buy more studios." They just told you that Microsoft has to do better in managing their studios.
They don't.
That doesn't mean they just sit
Platinum.
back and paralyze themselves into doing.
Yeah, they don't.
Nothing.
They don't really manage a studio like IO or Avalanche that's working on Contraband. Like that management all happens. That's a third party, first party situation. As they say, second party is not a real term that exists. Donatagu says, give Platinum the right budget and they'll make gold or platinum.
I mean,
I love it. Don.
Money is not the answer for it, as Zorka mentioned earlier as well. Like that money, and we mentioned at the start of the show, that money got used elsewhere to keep the company afloat on their other projects. That's a big no-no if that's the case, and it looks like the likelihood is high. So it's never that black and white, but let's see, man. We don't know. Okay. We don't know the details.
Well, I want to get into an update for an Xbox game in a second here, but there's a couple supers that kind of take us into a real short side road. Sean Volathier, thank you. Vothier, thank you for the $5 super, and I'll get your name next time. You can just write in the chat like, no, it's this. He says, if they buy Netflix, do you think they'll have an avenue to stream games on Netflix to compete with Twitch? And before Gaz answers, I don't think anything can compete with Twitch. Xbox left that behind when they pursued Mixer, which was a really good platform. They should have just bought Twitch, or they should have really pumped energy into Mixer. But when you have a juggernaut, you're kind of done. Twitch is the place.
That's a good question though, because Netflix is much more of a brand name than Mixer. Mixer had a problem with people like, what's Mixer? Even in core gaming circles, and Mixer to me was far more technically superior than Twitch. So such a shame that it faltered as bad as it did. But Netflix is a brand name, and so if you can do it as simple as press A to now play. There's like a movie video game, and then they're like, oh, now you can play Stranger Things, the game. Then that's fine. I don't know about Dr. Disrespect being the face of it. He is quite, perhaps not the most not friendly, but marketing friendly face. That's like having me as a spokesman for Microsoft. Bad
I just can't
news
see
written all over it.
Netflix becoming like a second arm where you play video games or you stream them. And it might be a pretty hard reach for them to break into that, where people feel like Netflix is a button you hit on your remote and you sit back and you just watch something. But Sean,
that was the thing. Sorry. I think that was the thing with YouTube and playing in Stadia. It's like you can watch a YouTube video and then press A and then you're playing it. That really was
it was integrated. Yeah.
So,
but
good
I don't know. Churro Barrow, the $2 says, they did a Cuphead show, so why not have a Grounded show? I forgot about the Cuphead show, but yeah, it sounds like the Grounded show is something they are working on. Hargeet Shawnee has got a comment. I need to remember to go back because it'll take us into our next subject. But he says, I don't want to stay on this one too long, guys, but this kind of tease off of the Platinum thing. But Hargeet says, thank you for the 5, Hargeet. He says, now that Sony has completed its acquisitions, and I wanted to put this in the topic list, so I wasn't sure, but he says, who do you think they'll buy next? When does Sony start getting in trouble with those monopoly checks? So two questions there, Gaz. Who do you think they're going after, and the FTC doesn't mind?
So that's a very good question, Hargeet. So they've kind of shown that they're desperate to they're gearing up for the future, and the Bungie acquisition was a desperate move because they didn't have anyone in the multiplayer space, and that's what it was. That's why they spent $3.5 billion on Bungie. In terms of now that it's completed, they probably have some bank for one more big move, that kind of Bungie level, or a multitude of smaller ones. And apparently, I did a video a while ago about what studios Sony should think about acquiring. But I think, and a lot of people are surprised by this, but I think Capcom as a publisher is actually entirely possible with Sony's bankroll. Yeah. I think
it makes sense,
and that would be huge. There, you're gearing up with their loads of. The thing is, Capcom, they're doing really well. Monster Hunter World alone makes quite a lot of money, and so does Resident Evil. And I don't know if their valuation, they may not even be interested in being acquired.
Zocker, I will punch you right in the face. You don't sully my chat with that blasphemy. He says they'll go after Ubisoft. I think they might.
That'd be huge to win. I would actually be really excited for PlayStation to buy that. That would fire up
all of a sudden Assassin's Creed will be amazing, and Skull and Bones looks like the best game ever. Oh gosh. Last week I did it.
Let it happen.
Last week I put up a tweet about how my favorite games run at 4K 60, and I put up screenshots of Forza Horizon 4 and Origins and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I absolutely love. And the tweet was my favorite games, and people got so mad because they thought I was saying Xbox exclusives. I think Sea of Thieves, it's not my favorite game, but Sea of Thieves runs at 4K 60 as much Xbox exclusives that do. But people get so mad about someone's preference. But Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins are fantastic games, and everybody has their own opinion, right?
Yeah, they're just using it. They thought you were console warring. You maybe a little bit.
Maybe I was, but I can wiggle my way out of that one. Let's see. We got Sean Valther again, who says with the 20. Thank you, Sean. By the way, let me know how to pronounce your name. And if I see you again, I won't butcher it so poorly. He says, if they buy Netflix, do you think they will add a section for people to stream to compete with Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube? Could have Dr. Disrespect be the face. Did you say that because you saw his chat earlier? Or
it was the same super chat we read. Yeah, but it's twice now.
Yeah. I didn't know you read that when you were talking about Dr. Disrespect. But I don't know about that. Like we kind of said, I would stay away from Twitch as a competition, right? I don't know. You got to bring down the king someday. Boba Fett Gaming with the Australian 5. Thank you, Boba Fett. He says, pick up Platinum and give their games away in Xbox Gold.
Oh my God. If that happens, then the games are absolute rubbish.
Okay, one more before we go into the Xbox game update is Red Wolf. Thank you so much for the $10 super. He says, off topic as usual, but what are you both most excited about? Have you that you've seen in Starfield? I hope we can be a bounty hunter. Gaz, congrats on you and Carrick's baby. I'm so happy for you. We're
Thank
supposed to be on
you.
ACG's show maybe this coming Friday, which would be pretty fun.
This Friday, shoot.
Maybe, but
maybe,
I haven't heard
okay,
back.
he needs to let me know quick because may have a date then. Because I
I don't
moved my
remember calling
Thursday one. Yeah. That was in reference to
what
Super Chat.
what are you most excited? What are you most excited to do in Starfield? I think you can be a bounty hunter, if I remember from the earlier talks. But what are you excited to do in that game? Like, what are you looking forward to?
Oh, there's so many things you do in Starfield. Like, if you had asked me before the reveal, I would have probably said exploration. And even now, I think I would still say exploration. And I'm not normally into big like ship building or base building, but I really want to see how that's handled as well. And it has space combat as well. So I don't know. There's what I like to do is I want to. Initially, I'm really intrigued to see this. You can actually board enemy ships. Obviously not in real time, but as in you go in space and just take over. But you can. There are missions like that. I'm intrigued to see.
You think there's going to be something where you can hold X after you've taken out their engines, and then it will fade to black and have you on their ship?
That's a good point. I wonder what the mechanic is like. Do you have to destabilize some parts of their ship, their warp drive or something, so they can't just beam out? Then there's a mechanic where you have to board the ship and align it somewhere. A little bit more thought in that. That would be really cool.
There's a lot to figure out what they're going to do, because like Assassin's Creed, Odyssey, or Black Flag, you could get them to where they're almost broken, and then you had a prompt where you could board the ship, and which you do in real time, or you can explode it and just hit a button to gather all the resources. So I would assume there's something very similar to that, but I'm looking forward to, I just thought this while you're talking, I kind of want to be a scrapper. I want to go out and find stuff on the planets, find stuff out in space from derelict ships or space stations, and bring everything back and build up my ship or my outpost. All as side stuff, which is really satisfying because you can carry all these little pieces of materials and stuff. That's gonna be a really cool game. I hope they're ready to talk about that game very early in the beginning of the year, because I don't know if we're going to hear much about Starfield at the end of this year. All right, I was hoping you and I would have time, but I played co-op Halo with Hargeet in the Insider build, and it's a little bit rough. Has a few weird problems we're dealing with. But we were in the opening scene when you're inside that derelict ship and you're trying to jump away while everything's blowing up. And Hargeet and I like grappled off away from the waypoint, and the checkpoint system was like completely screwed up. So we had to like fall into an endless pit so that we respawn and try to get something to trigger properly. But get this, guys, as much as you and I have trashed the issues going on with Halo Infinite's co-op is everything we were hoping it would be. It is so fun even with one friend. Like Hargeet and I were never right by each other. We were you going even in the enclosed areas in the beginning, we were on opposite ends of the room, getting killed or taking down enemies. And I would die, and Hargeet would move over to location to respawn me. And it just, that combat's so great, guys. It's so great.
The game is built for it. Why do you think I said delay it? The game was made for co-op. The game map design is screaming for it. If you don't make it open world and don't have co-op, it's so dumb. This is like, it's so obvious. And someone at Microsoft, quite senior, cough, has also intimated their absolute frustration to us directly, maybe, I don't know, about why this game it's such a miss not having it. So of course you're having a great fun. I'm not jumping into the flying. I want to go play it when it's out. I've got almost all the achievements, but I want to do 100% run with you or Hoggy or someone just to do in co-op. I will play it again. I've already completed a legendary, but I will do it again because it's going to be great. Because I'm sure it is. I know I'm not going to crap on Halo Infinite again. All I'll say is I've seen clips of people doing crazy things, and that's what the sandbox is made for. Although some people are doing crazy things of grappling each other and then flying across the map.
Hargeet was jumping a big gap, and I was trying to do the same thing behind him, and I grappled onto his backpack, and he propelled me forward farther than I would have made it because I didn't grapple the ground. It was super cool. We were having a really good time, kind of messing around with it. Like Hargeet was above and in front of me, and I grappled one of those pink, multi-explosion containers, and I chucked it at a grunt, and the collateral damage killed all of us. And he was like, "What the heck happened?" I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It just really ramps up the physics and everything to a whole new level with another factor or variable in there. I also realized that I wanted to use my custom Spartan, but that might cause another problem. Now, I reached out to 343's PR about why we are playing as Master Chiefs instead of our multiplayer character. Like, it's just a reskin. And like I think I might have said this last week, or I said it on your show, I have still yet to hear, let me look into it, or let me get an answer for you, or we're not doing that. I got no answer. Crickets.
That's because like in the background, there's just like they're on fire ever. Like, oh my god, the fires! Just put the fire out. Like, what? Sorry, Colteastwood. Don't shut up. Just put the fire out. I think eventually. He's just that's what's happening at 343. I think it's a great idea, though. I'm completely with you. They should definitely explore. Like, all this money is going into our custom Spartans. There's no reason why custom Spartans can't be in the campaign co-op. Yeah, everyone says, "Oh no, but lore."
The lore.
You've got 4 chiefs in there. I think that's a lot more immersion breaking than whatever.
There is one saving grace for you having all Master Chiefs in the game, and Hargeet being a dark green shiny armored character. You have friendly fires on, so I know where Hargeet is, other than the little arrow with the H Chani over it, right? I know that's Hargeet, but when you're shooting all these enemies, they're usually wearing dark gray or dark gray with red accents or whatever, or purple. I know who the enemies are amidst all the madness. But if you got a green Master Chief, oh, don't shoot at that guy. But if I was in there with my black shiny armor with the blue accent, that you might get a bunch of friendly fire shots at you. But maybe
there's ways to fix things like outlines, all sorts. But
I mean, games,
it's not the massive deal. I just wanted it to work. But
I don't know. It was just a small gripe, but I mean. In chat, how many of you guys write in here if you had a chance to play the Insider Flight? I was talking to Dealer Gaming. He doesn't even have access to it for some reason. I don't know what connection didn't get made, but have you tried the Halo Infinite co-op? You have to start over from the beginning, but I don't know. If you're looking for some side fun, it is good to get back into that campaign. I will also, Gaz, if we wait until it's out, my Halo Zeta ring is completely cleared. I've done everything other than find the skulls. So if we loaded that up, we'd have nothing to do. So I would be starting over the game for a third time to play co-op, just to experience taking out outposts and the big fortresses and stuff.
There needs to be a roadmap for serious roadmap for the co-op campaign content, because it's taking far too long. But I know they're in a bit of a turmoil, so let them sort that out. But you're right.
I've heard some not so promising talk about the future content, and some people are really thinking that Halo Infinite can't really be revived, at least back to its glory at launch. That the content, the big content that is going to bring everybody back, is probably not landing until 2024. And then the major content,
very ambitious, by the way. Sorry.
The single player content edition would not be till 2024 or 2025. So I don't know. We'll move off of Halo, but I'm just here to say that campaign co-op, super fun. You got to play it. It'll bring back. We haven't forgot how fun the campaign is, but you get kind of slapped in the face like, oh my gosh, how do I not remember how great this is? It is so freaking fun.
343. As much as we'll give them crap, the gameplay and the open world like I called an incomplete masterpiece for a reason, and that open world is a big reason why, because it had the vibes there. It's beautifully realized, although lacking biomes. It's still like this
it's
is
so
what
beautiful. Like if there was just 2 more distinguishable areas
and more content.
outside, right?
Yeah.
The game was so great. When I finished it, I gave it such a great review for the campaign. And then I thought, oh man, it was so beautiful when I was making the video about all these big vistas and how the game actually looked really good when we weren't sure at first. And I thought, gosh,
Halo Infinite can be saved. It'll be saved or in 2 or 3 years. That means like most of your half of your 10-year plan has been recovery, which is horrendous. But in 2 or 3 years, when they have that big single player content push, because remember the Endless, where are they? When they start pushing that
that's
and
all in the
marketing,
pipeline.
ramping up the anticipation and really getting things right, then you can bring it back. It's not dead yet. I
think it just stings because some of us had to fall back on Halo because 3 other major games got pushed to next year. So it is a really rough
Halo's
situation.
my darling, or was my darling, and I felt left out by it. But it can still bring it back. People always like, Gaz, you always whinge at it. I will always do it like it's my son. Well, I'll probably.
You love Halo.
Yeah,
Percolator 9000 says, I am here. Great show so far. I'm sorry for teabagging you. I was wrong. I feel bad. Wink, wink. The old classic.
I played with Percolator from the community. I've never met him, and he reached out to me, and then we played a Halo game, and I got running riot at like 28 and 2 deaths, and he's like, "Oh, you actually can play Halo." I'm like,
he's really good, guys. He's really good.
Bruh. I'm not that good,
one night,
but, yeah.
Kid Smooth, Hargeet, Chani, and I went 3 versus Gaz, and he stomped us. And he was laughing like a maniac the whole time. Dead Planet.
So I was literally.
You recorded it too. You never released the tapes, or did you?
And I didn't, because kids like, come on, man, you can't embarrass us like this. Fine. It's there, sitting there, but I'm not releasing it.
He's holding it as blackmail. The Dead Planet, thank you so much for the $5. Says Xbox game studios are in such a position of power this gen, with so many teams doing new unknown IPs compared to PS5, which will basically be the PS4 sequel machine. So far, they have been. They've been repeating the success of last generation, which is okay. Hargy Johnny with a $5 super. It is a good point. Hargy with a $5. Thank you, Hargy. He says, I actually think once Forge comes out along with co-op, Halo will be pretty good. It won't ever compete with the likes of Fortnite. Yeah, Fortnite's a juggernaut. Like I said, leave the king alone. Let them do their thing. All right, let's talk about Activision and Blizzard. News outlets are reporting that they're hearing people talk about Activision Blizzard closing as soon as October. And I talked to my good friend Hargeet Chani last night, and he went on a investigative dive last night. Did you talk to him about this, Gaz?
No, I didn't. Well, I've seen some stuff that he's emailed across to me. He's done some sleuthing and some research as well. A lot of it's speculative anyway, but there seems quite sound reasoning about, the UK regulatory bodies, EU, and then the FTC. I don't expect much resistance from the EU and UK, to be fair. It's the FTC that I'm really more concerned about, because they're emboldened by this new mandate to be quite strong. The recent
news that the FTC is pretty much, they've approved on their end, and now it goes to the EU and the UK trade commissions for review. Hargeet was digging into the timelines and deadlines and requirements, some of the really specific details of where the Activision Blizzard agreement would be sitting as it is now. And we had because a couple of days ago, everyone's like, oh, it sounds like it's really moving along quickly. It could be this October. When you dive into and I'm probably going to have just Hargeet just write in the chat to correct me, because, my memory is, I start to mix things up as we heard. It was super late last night, and I was trying to retain all of his stuff he was getting information from. Hargeet said, I'm about to call the EU and just call their office and just ask what their requirements are and where they're sitting. It was really funny. And I think he was serious. But he said,
to be honest, Hargeet is not the only one. There are articles coming out. Loads of people are now suggesting that Microsoft the FTC could approve the acquisition in August, in a couple of months, or next month. God. So apparently, and I'll just read it out there. A few hours ago, the Redmond giant, Microsoft, has confirmed that it responded to the second request for sending documents out to the FTC, and now the U.S. government agency has 30 days to request further info. Otherwise, it will have to automatically approve the operation. So the deal and all of that could actually happen potentially by August. So
or September or October at the latest. Here's the situation. Hargi said they're at the situation right now where the only thing that's going to get in their way is if they get sued. So they're in a situation where correct me when I'm wrong, Hargi, but you said one of them, I think it was UK, has 25 days from now to approve or deny or not approve the deal that's come across their desk. I think it was the UK. And then it's also at the EU and Europe simultaneously. So this thing really, unless they run into some roadblocks or a suit, I think Xbox right now is chewing and Microsoft are chewing on their fingernails down to the nubs that if this thing, because we were talking June or July of 2023, if this thing was done by October, it literally means that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 launches on Game Pass, no questions asked, and then Activision games start pouring into the service, and Xbox has all marketing and pound your chest pride for Activision and Blizzard. And what else? Yeah. What else is coming from Activision and Blizzard? They have some big games coming.
Like
one of your favorite franchises, Diablo.
I love that you say that now. It's my favorite, but I did very late play Diablo 3. Incredible game. I need to go back into it. Got massive, crazy pestilence armor set for my necromancer. I can't wait for the new Diablo, man. It's going to be insane. So that's coming out. That's going to be big. Obviously, Overwatch 2's beta, whatever it is free to play now. I'm not that excited for it, but it's obviously going to make a splash. That's going to be big.
Yeah, it's been 6
Diablo
years.
4 on Game Pass would be incredible. Do you have to understand Diablo 3 and its era 37 or something, whatever it was? There are so many people playing that game. They completely underestimated how much it was that it crashed everything for ages. If that Diablo 4 the deal goes through, and it should actually by next year, and that's on Game Pass, that is monstrous. And I use the word carefully. It's a monstrous addition to Game Pass. That would be huge. They will see, without a doubt, more numbers than they've ever had or could dream of. That number, Diablo and Game Pass.
They've been waiting on that. They've been held off from these big releases that just aren't ready yet. Hargeet says UK has until September 1st, 2022 for phase 1. They usually finalize within phase 1. If it goes to phase 2, Hargeet says, they will have 24 weeks to finalize. So 24 weeks from now or September 1st, but that seems like quite a long time. But then Hargeet, I'm sure you're talking about that's their deadline, and they won't wait that long to make their decision. This is interesting, and Microsoft has had such a rough year for Game Pass with probably zero growth this year, Gaz.
Probably a lot of people unsubscribing, in my opinion. I'd be very interested to see if their growth was like this with Game Pass after what's happened with Starfield and thinking it's just going to hit a slump and it just really strong normalization, or maybe a tepid growth. But I would think it's like this and starting maybe to dip over. They need to get that sorted. They'll feel the pressure. All of that will change when an ABK does go through. But yeah, they do desperately need that. It's not a strong year for Microsoft and Xbox. It just isn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they've never had this. I've said this so many times. I just keep repeating myself. For 20 years that Xbox has been around, they've never had a release where they just were not present. And I don't know. Dusk Falls is a published game for Xbox, but Pentiment,
Nah.
Dusk Falls, Grounded. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Not a stellar year, even though I love Grounded to death. Danny Passion Official has been a channel member for 3 months. You can join the channel membership by hitting the join button, and there are affordable tiers there, but everybody gets early access to videos before they go up, except for one that I'm putting out tomorrow, which is a review, and which I can't put out until that time, can't put out early. But you also get custom emojis that I drew that are so fun, but they're Xbox characters. Like, I'm going to punch them in the chat here. I need to update these. But, we just keep getting new characters coming into Xbox. But yeah, there's some of them right there. But he says, Danny Patch Festival says, do you think if the deal goes through this year and we get Modern Warfare 2 into Game Pass day one? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That would absolutely be, if that deal was approved before Modern Warfare 2 came out, I think Xbox would just say, yes, please get that in there ASAP. What do you think?
I think it's going to happen next year, by the way. I don't think it's happening this year. I'll be happy to be proven wrong, but I think it'll be next year. But if Modern Warfare 2 did make it this year, that's huge, man, because Modern Warfare, that's like, when's their next big COD release that is on that level? I don't think.
Yeah. And it's not about rushing. Capono said in the chat, you don't want to rush a $70 billion deal. You don't want the FTC to rush it? Like, you don't want them to rush it to approve it.
Microsoft are ready to rush it through. Yeah,
I mean,
paying their lawyers
Xbox
overtime for that.
Yeah, Microsoft and Xbox want that deal approved the moment they announced it. They know they have to wait for approval from the regulatory agencies. So rushing the deal, yes, please. They want it rushed. And they really want to make up that deficit because, like you said, Gaz, you think they've lost. They're in a loss for growth in Game Pass over this past year?
Very temporary, but I think that would be the case. I'd be very surprised if they're seeing growth at anywhere near the levels they were pre this year, because they were going boom, 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 boom up. And to be honest, I think they need to be even way higher based on their capital investment here. But I would see that temporary stalling of that growth, in my opinion. But I don't have the numbers. This is all guess. Guess what?
Yeah, we don't. But they wanted to be at 30 million 9 months ago, and they are not. They're probably still. I would guess. I mean, we can only guess. They haven't reported. I would guess they're probably still at around 25. And I've seen. It's just been like, I'll do it for the direction of the audience, but they were growing, and I think they've staggered out probably this past year because the offerings for Game Pass have been okay. Like they've had some good ones, but
you need strong names. As you may begrudge me relying on AAA first parties, but as far as Game Pass is concerned, it needs those games. That's what people are.
And they need them sooner. For. Like Guardians of the Galaxy was a big highlight, but if a lot of us have played it already. Hargeet also says EU has 25 working days. Okay, so I knew I mixed those up. I knew it. He says EU has 25 working days, which should have lapsed already. And then 90 working days to finish up. Should be done by mid-September. That's what Hargeet is thinking if everything is going to plan. And like he told me last night, they're really only looking at being worried about someone suing at this point. And so far, it's been smooth sailing, hasn't it, Gaz? We haven't heard about many major rocky issues with this acquisition approval.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they will... So far, it's been smooth sailing. And when you asked about, or I think Hoggy was intimating that potential litigation, I'm just wondering who the litigants would be. Who are the applicants in any kind of litigation
Jim Ryan
case? I mean, it's a big company, big deal, Jim Ryan. But I think it'll be fine. I think the deal will go through. I think Microsoft's lawyers will have, other than the scale and unprecedented levels of scrutiny from the FTC that are now emboldened by their mandate, I think they will still have a pretty easy time because Microsoft are towing the line. FTC doesn't want anti-compete measures, and Microsoft may have more than enough there to say that we're not depriving our competing platforms, especially Activision Blizzard, a studio or whatever, publisher in turmoil with lots of negative press. This is, I think it will go through, and I think it will go through pretty quick. And if it's ahead of schedule, because I hang around the Americans so much, it's schedule or whatever you guys call it. It's ahead of schedule, then I'm not surprised. But if it happens this year, I'll be very surprised because I did.
Why are you so pretentious in saying schedule?
Schedule.
You think you're better than me?
I know I am. No, I'm just kidding. Wait, well, I don't even know which one is the British version now. Schedule or schedule? I don't even know anymore.
Schedule is what American folk say, but
it sounds wrong.
And then
that's why.
When you say schedule, like my kids, why did that guy say aluminium? I'm saying because that's probably the proper way to pronunciate it. But we're all right. Just hand me the aluminum foil, and we'll be good.
Oh God.
Hey, but you know what? I've made strides. I've tried to learn different terminology and try to expand my mind. So we actually have a pretty great 2022, but a couple of games were shown this year that we're like, talk to me about Gollum, guys. It's coming this year. They're ready. Gollum is coming.
What's Gollum?
The Gollum, the Lord of the Rings game.
I didn't even know about it.
Hold on, Hargeet Chani just said something new. He said
the way the FTC can block the deal is by suing Microsoft to stop it. That's what I was talking about. Oh, I see. EU and the UK can block, and then Microsoft can appeal. All right, so the litigation would come from the FTC itself, or a block itself.
What is he suing for? I don't understand. Like,
you have to have some
these smaller
kind of quantum level damages. What is it that they're suing? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not a mergers and acquisitions lawyer. I have no idea.
Well, get on it. What are you doing all day?
You should be relaxed. If people don't think the deal will go through, I will be shocked. As shocked as I was that Microsoft was acquiring Activision Blizzard, to be fair, that this deal doesn't go through. It's
just a big deal. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's the union, and it doesn't have anything to do with exclusivity. Like Hogue said when he was on here with us,
it's a political affair.
It's a very political affair, and they want to make sure that Microsoft doesn't step in and set the price for games when their competition and the biggest publishers are the ones who are gouging and setting the price of $70 games. Gaz, what are we going to do about this? Gollum is the Lord of the Rings game where you play as Gollum and you sneak around, much like Plague's Tale. You sneak around, and if you haven't seen this, you should look it up. People aren't impressed. Maybe it'll have a lot of charm. It just, the visuals from what you would expect don't look as, I don't even want to say impressive. They're just a little bit off-putting, I suppose. Is that a good way to say it? Because I like to be a little bit respectful about how a team who makes games that I don't know how to make, if I was going to make Gollum in Photoshop and try to make him look good, I probably wouldn't, even with all my experience, probably couldn't do that very well from scratch. So,
this is a PlayStation game. You just hide in grass all the time. Yeah, I see it.
Yes, facts. I'm not super excited about Gollum, but there's another game. Let me name 3 games that are, or 2 more games that are coming out that I don't think are actually going to make it. The other one is Avatar. James Cameron's like big 9-foot blue, tall alien game, like a first-person Ubisoft cinematic looking Avatar game is supposed to come out this year, and they said it's coming out this year, but we've seen nothing but a cinematic trailer. So
the stakes are high, the budget will be quite high, the movie's budget is bloody astronomical, but we haven't seen any gameplay for it, so I'm like, is this going to be just a standard tie-in, or it's going to be an actual good game? Because what's happening with that game? It's been very quiet. When is the movie coming out?
The movie, I think the movie comes out this year, and the game is supposed to come out this year. In fact, give me a second. I will Avatar the game 2022.
Frontiers of Pandora.
Yes,
Jake Sully, you must ride to Rukmato. That's what I remember. Jake Sully, you must ride to Rukmato. Rukmato was
coming in 2022, according to Ubisoft. It's in the Snowdrop engine. So, what was the last game that was in Snowdrop? They're all really impressive looking.
Division 2.
Oh, is that the Divisions? What games use a Snowdrop engine? Yeah, Division 2. Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Okay, I don't know, but it does look good, but I just don't think it's coming out. I don't know. The other one is Hogwarts Legacy, the Harry Potter game. Supposed to come
that
out
might
this
be really
year,
good.
but we haven't heard anything. But I think studios right now are really careful. They don't want to talk about the release date until they know when they're going to go gold.
Which is
I
fair
think
enough.
that's what's going on.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
Somebody asked in the chat, would Modern Warfare 2 go into PC Game Pass as well if it went into Xbox Game Pass?
I'm pretty sure it would. Otherwise, it would
Yeah.
cause an absolute S-storm.
Yeah. Store. Let's talk Callisto Protocol. People are like, oh man, this 2022 on Xbox. Oh, multiplats don't count. Callisto Protocol is still set for this year.
Yeah.
Gaz.
December 3rd, 8th? Well, early December, right?
Yeah.
Callisto Protocol is going to be a big one. It's going to be a wicked one. Everyone's looking for. That's probably one of the most anticipated games. Well, the multi-platform games. But then you've got God of War, people. That's the kind of game you want Xbox to have, and it does. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
To Starfield's old date.
Can't wait for God of War. But yeah, Callisto Protocol is coming out. That's going to be amazing game. Then this holiday season is pretty stacked, especially combined God of War. So yeah, I mean, this should be the quietest year for Xbox. After this, it should be ridiculously busy. I mean, on paper, it's already ridiculously busy. You got Diablo, you've got Starfield, you've got Redfall, you've got Forza. I mean, those alone just kill it next year. And then you've got all sorts of other games coming out that I haven't even bothered to name. So
Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights. I mean, it might be good, but in that company, I don't know. But yeah, God of War. Don't you dare sacrilege God of War. I bet you love Hellblade though, Ben. You're saying God of War. What? Disgusting. I want to know what Scatlights thinks about Hellblade. You just said that there. I want you to say the same thing for.
What about Saints Row, Gaz? Are you gonna play Saints Row?
No, I don't like the new art style. You have a predisposition
about it.
I just think the art style doesn't like. They've made it all Gen Z and all these guys like. Yo, man, I was from the old school days. I love the old art style, and that one is pretty crazy as well. I don't know. Maybe I'll play it with you because I like playing co-op and playing online. Because
I don't know if the old school thing works anymore. Like the dude bro Gears of War is kind of gone.
Not even
like,
dude
I don't
bro.
know.
It had a style. It was wicked, man. That was like wicked gangsters. Not this new gen of gangsters. Like, whatever. I'll try it.
I think the gameplay looks super fun. I think it looks super fun. Like
I know the gameplay is white. Yeah, I mean Saints Row 3 was the one where they went way too much, but that game I had co-op campaign. Me and my friend, I remember this. This is a random story. I'm sorry, I have to say this. Me and my friend were really danked. No, we weren't danked. Me and my friend were really just playing co-op, and the game had so many bugs that it was like 2-3 a.m. and we're in a car and we jumped off the building and then just stuck in the middle of the road, like the car had clipped through, and all you could see is our heads. And then there was just awkward silence. Because
you did a big jump and landed. Like, I've done that too.
The thing. And then we burst out crying, like trying not to laugh, literally like giggles for about 15 minutes as our family members, like trying not to wake them up. That was amazing, man. That kind of co-op experience. Yeah, you know what? I shouldn't be too uppity about art style. Although I'm sick of remakes, man. So sick of remakes.
I mean, they're rebooting games, and we have to remember, like, for those of you in your 30s or 40s, there are, 15, 16-year-olds that are playing big open world games, like, for the first time.
Yeah, true.
This generation, right? They just started getting into those games, and I don't know. Get off my porch. Super old. But, Skill Up just talked to the developers at Fat Shark. Yeah, I think so. I think I got that.
Okay.
About Warhammer Darktide. And I always thought this game looked very cool. I knew it'd be better than Vermintide for me because of the emphasis on firearms. But I watched his preview of the game. Darktide looks better than most of these games we talked about today. Darktide is going to be really good.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
You've
love
got
the
kind
art
of an
style.
old The Ascent, like kind of a post, like a cyberpunk or punk. I don't know how you like a techno
It's a
punk.
weird, yeah, it's a weird techno punk kind of style, bit of mix of everything, very Quake vibes as well with the whole thing. That's
Yeah.
my kind of thing. It looks great, man. It looks like a lot of fun. The shooting looks great. Graphically, in some bits, looks very good. So I'm really looking forward to Dark Tide. And yeah, shout out to Skill Up. He did a good preview of it.
Did you watch that? I watched like the whole thing, and
I haven't watched the whole thing, but I will definitely check it out.
yeah, the developers gave him some 30 frames footage, and then he mixed in some of the footage they let him capture on the PC, like right there while he was at a Summer Games Fest or something like that. I'm looking for the release date as I talk, as I. Oh
Okay.
gosh, come on. Where is it? Somebody in the chat knows. I've gotten to this point lately, this past year, where I'm not even clocking or remembering what month or time in the month that these games are releasing. I've just kind of been out of it.
13 September, apparently. September the 13th. Maybe
yeah,
got
I
that
still
wrong.
can't find it, but is that what it is? Yeah. Xbox has had a rough 2022, but Dark Tide looks like it's going to look really fun. Really fun. Happy Bomb in the chat says Slime Rancher 2 as well, which is a really popular game. Like a
High on Life. What is sleeping on High on Life?
High on Life's coming as well. Yeah. Seville says getting old Colt. No, I've just this past year, it's just been such a wash of a year for Xbox exclusives. And on the other side of the coin, believe it or not, there's been so many games where I just thought, you know what? I'm just gonna put it in cruise control, and I'm just gonna wait until the game is close enough for me to know when I'm gonna play it. I'm also playing an Xbox exclusive. I've been playing, and I've got a review coming out tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. your time.
Ooh, I wonder what that could be.
Yeah, who knows? Not allowed to talk about it. It's got things where you do things and you control it with a controller. But I honestly have just like been sitting back and just waiting things to drop on my Xbox. And some of these games that Gaz and I are talking about, this pretty packed year with such a rough first half of the year on Xbox, PlayStation and stuff.
It's a year where Xbox doesn't have an identity. That's it. It's got loads of good experiences like third-party games, but Xbox has no identity in 2022. It has none, especially compared to PlayStation that has almost an end of gen performance with God of War, with Gran Turismo, with Horizon Forbidden West. Granted, from Horizon and Gran Turismo don't really excite me at all. God of War is big though, no matter what way you cut it. So, like, compared to that, Xbox has no identity. Even if you take away PlayStation out of the equation, just Xbox doesn't have much of an identity this year.
Yeah, not right now.
All of that will change.
I got to give a quick speech. The first half of the year, Stalker was supposed to be here, so exclusives were really rough before we even got midway through 2022. But there were 4 games that won me over that I did not expect to love, that I've been playing since the beginning of the year up until right now. One of them was Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I thought the game looked dorky, thought it looked like a cash grab. Absolutely loved it. Played it with like 4 different people and my son. Really love Tiny Tina's Wonderlands and put probably 50 or 60 hours into it. Another one that surprised the crap out of me that I spent a good month playing was Elden Ring. Remember those days, guys, when Elden Ring had everybody by the
I still need to complete that. Yeah,
I still haven't you know what? I haven't beat the game, and I don't care. Everything I've done, I could never play the game again, and I'd still say, what an impressively fantastic experience. Another game that surprised the crap out of me that I got 20 or 30 hours of absolute joy out of was Sniper Elite 5. I made fun of people in this chat and said, but Colt, we have Sniper Elite 5 coming to Game Pass. Freaking love that game. And the last one that no one wants to hear about, that is one of my favorite games right now, because people say, yo, over there on Game Pass, ain't got no first-party exclusives. My favorite game this year is MLB The Show, and I've been having so much fun playing the game. I've totally got nobody cares about baseball. I'm not going to give you a speech, but I've had so much lateral enjoyment of playing that game every single day, multiple times a day, and watching the real game. I can't believe how much. Thank you, PlayStation, for giving us your first party game day and date in Game Pass. So it's not all bad, right? It's not all bad. It's not bad. It's been really great. And I know you've not run out of games to play regardless, right?
Oh, there's loads of games to play. Right now I'm playing okay, by the way, chat, I know you get journalists who, many journalists don't know how to play games, or a lot of them are just in the gaming space. They don't even play games or whatever. Jeff Grubb is, not only does he play games, he is ridiculous. Jeff Grubb, I'm not massaging his ego for no reason. He is absolutely ridiculous at games, because I am trying to beat his score in one level of a game called Neon White, which is on PC and Switch. And I'm top 300 in the world. He's top 150. I'm milliseconds away from him. But for him to achieve that score means he is ridiculous. And apparently on Neon White, he has comprehensively high speed run. It's a speedrunner's game. He is insane. Jeff Grubb is insane. So everyone give it props to Jeff Grubb. One for being just a nice, cute little man.
Astrobot when it came out. So
yeah, he had a world record in Astrobot. Not only that, he's got a lovely, luscious set of hair. And he also predicts, and he has actual insider knowledge as well. And he looks like a really cool kind of guy. So yeah, shout out to Jeff Grubb. But I have been trying. I've spent hours, I would say maybe 4 or 5 hours, the same 9-second level over and over again. And it's too hot for me to play that game. It's too hot for me to play that game.
And you put up a little video clip of you trying to beat his score, and you had the camera on you, and you were going...
So in fairness to me, I just bought that game, just played it. I thought, what, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. I'm sure I can. I've looked at the gameplay clip. I can mimic this and make it better. No, I was wrong. I spent hours on it. He is very, very good at that game. Jeff Grubb,
everybody hit the like button and show your support to the XNC podcast. If you think you're a better gamer,
hit the like button.
Then Gaz, hit the like button. Well, I want to get that up to 500 to show, to tell
Smash
YouTube,
the like button. That should be at 500. There's 777 of you watching. I'm sure all of you loved my Halo takes. Like that button.
yeah, do hit the like button. If you had some entertainment value while you were doing the dishes or playing a video game while you're checking out the show, we really appreciate it. I'm curious to know how many people on YouTube listen to the show while they're playing a game, or how many people sit and just watch our faces go. But I don't know. Who knows? I was always wondering how many people actually watch all the edits I do on my videos. And Zachar was saying he thinks people just listen to the videos and don't watch any of the footage, don't see any of the graphic overlays I do, but who knows?
No. That's Zorka's videos. Zorka's videos are radio videos. Your videos are not that.
Yeah, I would hope that people enjoy this stuff that we put on screen, because you do amazing. It drives me crazy. I've got 15 years of experience in video production, and I watch a Gaz video of production. And I go, bro, your edits, like, you are on another planet. Amazing. So make sure you're supporting.
What are you talking about? I'm not on your level, but
no, dude, you do these micro edits and these like timed things that just they make the little hairs stand up in different places. They're amazing.
Appreciate
But let's see. We got Sleeping Vistas with the Australian 5. Thank you, Sleeping. He says, Gaz, are you playing Power Wash Simulator? The spray will cool you down. That's another cult hit.
I read
right
that super chat and I hate you for it, because it would just feel so nice to have that kind of spray.
It would feel nice to have 60 psi blasting you right in the crotch.
Yeah, I literally am. Like, literally,
you can cut your hand. You can cut your arm open with a power washer. You have to be really careful.
Yeah.
And as I just said that comment, I apologize. Jonas Dad with the $2 thing. He says, I enjoy listening and watching while playing co-op Stardew Valley with kids. You can do Stardew in co-op? I thought it was a single player game. That's a cool game. I didn't know that.
Oh.
Where was I? So yeah, I gave you my spiel about all the games I've been playing. Plague's Tale Requiem is also coming, but some of these games are taking a little while.
Yeah.
Atomic Heart apparently is a first-person BioShock meets Stalker meets. How would you describe that game? It's it's like a steampunk BioShock type game from a studio in Eastern Europe, and they've been seeing delays because of the war going on, but apparently they're trying to make it this year as well. I don't know.
I don't think they will.
Do you give a crap about Scorn, Gaz? That's all everyone wants to know. Are you excited about Scorn?
I am. I think that's a game that people are overlooked. Yeah, it may not be a typical game, but this is what indie devs do. Which game studio, AAA studio, is making this kind of Geiger-esque risk with this incredible art style? Yes, it looks icky and it looks weird.
It looks gross.
It looks gross, but I think it's amazing. I'm really hoping the developers knock it out of the park with Scorn and the game does well, because it deserves to, based on the efforts they've done into just the pure majesty of the game design. And as Capono says, I like to insert things into other things. So yes, I'd love Scorn. Scorn is very weird, fleshy kind of weird game, but it looks incredible. Just even drawing that, a still of that is amazing. To build that in a 3D game and make it fun, it's not going to be easy, but I really am looking forward to Scorn. So the developers of Scorn, you've got my support.
It's very unorthodox, and like a shotgun being like the carcass of a creature and reloaded with bloody teeth and bones and blood globules that power the super weird. I feel like the game is going to be slow and not methodical.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be slow and tense and a little bit of puzzle work, like figuring out which way to go and how to unlock a gate before some lumbering sack of guts comes to slap its meat hooks on you. A very, very weird game.
Definitely.
One more. It's a multi-plat, and boy, this game won me over. Evil West. Now, this isn't the one that Miles Delpierre is excited about. This isn't the one with Bruce Campbell. Evil West is the cowboy zombie killer. It's a third person Devil May Cry meets God of War / Red Dead Redemption. Third person action melee and shooter game. When I get the show moved over and I can bring stuff like live in the moment, you have to look at this game because you can lasso and jump, swing across gaps, you can punch enemies, you can pull off headshots. It kind of has that Call of Juarez gunslinger thing. Another really cool game. I don't know why Xbox is not reaching out saying, hey, let's get you on Game Pass, because I feel like that game looks so cool and may not sell very well because of doesn't have the marketing machine behind it.
Yeah,
who's
and
making
that game looks cool.
Guys?
You brought that to my attention.
What do you think of it?
I think it looks really fun. I think the mechanics look like a lot of fun, like a Red Dead /
Flying Wild Hog, the team that made Shadow Warrior 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, yeah.
Shadow Warrior 3 was another game I played this year that I really enjoyed, and then forgot about it because I played it in like 2 or 3 days solid, and it was a little messy but pretty fun, and it's like Doom on crack and doesn't have the polish of Doom. So Flying Wild Hog is really cool. I think this should be good, but I don't know. We actually have a pretty good 2022 coming up. Is there anything I'm missing that you're looking forward to playing?
I'm sure there are quite a few games, because whilst Xbox hasn't got an identity this year, there's Road 96. I've heard good things about that, or 86, whatever. Aaron Hasley. I think Phil Spencer tweeted about that as well, said it was a good game for him. And there's loads of mini games or third-party games that are really good. So it's a stacked year just generally. So there are lots of good games and a lot of variety. And I'm just waiting to come and play them. So as Xbox content creators, it's really frustrating, by the way. I mean, I cover all platforms, but Colt, it must be, come on, be honest, this is absolutely rubbish as an Xbox content creator. He's sinking away.
I think it really comes off as really super dumb to complain about the difficulties of trying to make content, because from anybody who sits and watches the show or watch their videos, it's like, make entertaining content, we'll watch it, right? And or people may say, and I don't blame them, I really don't, even though we can spend 8 hours on one video at a normal, right? But it's really easy to say, you know what, it's not like you're out there
hours on one video. I've never been
it's not like we're It's not like we're out there, bucking hay or trying to build a house. It's not hard manual labor, and a lot of it can be really fun. But to
I
say,
was sweating my ass off making the Source video. It was harder than building a house.
It's to get into how terrible it could be being a content creator. I have an AC thing in the window to help keep it cool enough in here. I can't have it on when I'm recording the part of my video on camera or doing my voiceover on this mic. And so I'm like, oh, the suffering. But let me be real with you guys.
Facing me, there's no ventilation. I've got this. I'm just literally going around doing this to myself.
Yeah.
So hot.
You feel sorry for us.
But I love it. Don't let me be real, because hold us to account, and we're very grateful. Like 730 people just listening to us talk nonsense, so it's good. Not nonsense, hopefully.
I'm super grateful. But behind the scenes, the news has been slow, and Xbox is not going to talk about anything big for maybe another month, right? Maybe not until Gamescom or till things start wrapping up towards the Game Awards or if they start talking about XO 2022, which is a possibility. We'll talk about that in the next show probably. But as a content creator, like, if I'm going to sit down and make a video for 6 to 8 hours, I have to really want to cover the subject. And if the subject is just some little piece of news, I may just go, I'm not going to do it. And then YouTube is behind the scenes, guys. This is great, but YouTube tells you in your analytics thing where you look at your numbers and your metrics, YouTube is constantly telling you, you suck. Your numbers are going down. Nobody's watching your stuff. You haven't made anything, and the stuff you did make, nobody cares anymore, right? So
it immediately dropped off. The analytics were harsh after the showcase event. No matter how good the video is, boom.
Because everybody got all the news they needed in one shot. Yeah. That's why it's so important to have E3, where all this news is pouring in over the week, and there's always stuff to talk about. But really super grateful that you guys check out the show and check out Gaz and I, talking about where we sit on this news. And check out this channel tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, where I'll have a review for something from Xbox. And I'm really super proud of how the pacing and the excitement of watching that will be really great. Gaz, tell everybody what you've got in the works. I know you're deep in the middle of a project where you've got the studio lights baking you, sweat's pouring off your face. You're pouring your heart and guts and soul into what? What's going on?
Source. It's a Source video. It is a very disrespectful Source video. It's an acquired taste. If adult content and humor and language, very Adult Swim. I'm very excited to release it. I might get in trouble with this one because I do some raw lyrics, but it's for...
You say that every week.
I say that every week. This one I think is probably the rawest. Last time we had someone like pretty much pleasure themselves to get a release date in a video. That was pretty raw. When YouTube tells like what kind of content, I actually very accurate with my, it has strong language, it has a strong sexual suggestive stuff. Yeah, fine.
You guys don't know this, but when you upload a video, YouTube asks you in the process of setting up all the information, it says, do you have any of this? Do you have any of this?
And you have
do
to
you
get
have
it right.
any of this in there? And me, as clean as a whistle, I'm like, no. And Gaz is like, yes, maybe a little bit, 2 inches. Just kind of
2 inches. Oh, but I have to take those boxes because I don't mess about with YouTube, so I do take that. So this, the video is like Source video. It's on. I'll give you a little early peek. It's about people who are defending. There are people out there defending a $70 price tag because they're PlayStation fanboys and they don't have the balls to actually call out something like that. And I find that frustrating. And then also there's one very disgustingly stupid, moronic take from this one chap who...
I was going to talk about that tonight. I'm glad we didn't. I don't even cover it.
It's on Halo Infinite. You think I'm entitled with Halo Infinite? You haven't seen anything yet, or unless you have seen this guy. But yeah, it's a funny video.
I want my dollar back.
Exactly. What is dollar back? What? But yeah, it's just going to be a fun video if you like that kind of humor. It's a bit disrespectful. People I call out, but I don't care. But yeah, check it out. Game on Daily, one word.
Is it going to be out tomorrow?
Yeah, it should be out tomorrow. I filmed most of it, but minus the monologues, which I'll film tomorrow in this heat, and then I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you so
Tomorrow.
much. Thank you so much. Yeah, like I said, I'll have my review out tomorrow, and then working on a big Starfield video and just trying to get that all explained. But thank you so much for checking out the XNC podcast. Hit the like button. We have almost 400 likes. We are live on the Colt Eastwood channel, but this is also on demand on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, and a couple other platforms. So if you want to check that on your favorite place, you can add or subscribe that channel, and you'll get the update after every Tuesday morning, I guess, if you're in North America. But we appreciate our Australian, our UK, our European, and our North American audience. That's so cool. Thank you so much for checking out the show. And Gaz, get some rest. Thank you so much for doing the show yet again. I don't know what I'm going to do when you just get busier and busier, but thank you for everything you do. Guys, thank you so much. We're going to get out of here and have a good one.
Thank you. I'm naked again.
Hold on, I haven't hit the end thing. They can hear everything we're saying. Thank